Thank you for joining the 3-on-3 Hoops Pod. My name is Kevin Roberts, and on the show today, Coach Jay and I are going to be talking about unlocking your child's potential through youth sports and why 3-on-3 basketball is a number one option for parents looking to introduce their kids into sports. But before we get to the show, I want to remind everyone that not only are we available to listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts, we also have the video version of this podcast available on YouTube. So make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we post new content. Also, don't forget to join our Facebook group, the 3-on-3 Hoops Tribe. We want to keep growing this tribe as big as possible, so please keep sharing, and thank you to everyone who's already joined and become a member of the tribe. We appreciate the support, and we love you all for that. All right, so let's get on with the show. As always, thank you to everyone who's listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to another episode of the 3-on-3 Hoops Pod. My name is Kevin Roberts, and I am joined, as always, by the number one Laker fan living in Phoenix, Arizona. Also the number one Braves fan, the mega fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and for some reason a big fan of the Milwaukee Bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, you said that last time. He's not only a fan. He's not only a fan. I got it on tape.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Hey, disregard that last team. But the Tampa Bay Bucks, we got that.
Okay. All right. Well, I remember you said you had the two TVs. You said my Milwaukee Bucks on one TV and my Atlanta Braves on the other.
Man,
I have too many teams, Coach. That's the problem.
I said my Tampa Bay Bucks because the Lakers were eliminated, man.
Oh my goodness! I think you
misspoke. Bring the tape up.
I mean, that's all it is.
Hey, we see this all playoffs long. Look, I'm doing it here now. Look, run the tape.
But they can review this if they want to. Under 2 minutes to go. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
Still recovering from your loss last night. Sorry.
Oh, we good, man. I done moved on from that, man. I was just watching my Seattle. My Braves are playing the Seattle Mariners right now, so.
Oh, you moved on to baseball.
I mean, hey, I moved on to baseball on opening day, man. We got two TV. We got a two TV set up in our living room, so I got my Lakers on one channel. I got my Lakers on one TV. I got my Braves on the other TV. So
well
good,
now
man.
You'll just have your Braves on both TVs. So
no, I have my Braves and my Bucks now because the Bucks are gonna come right up under that. So hey, those two TVs are always occupied.
Expanded use of instant replay. And I think they're going to overturn this.
It certainly looked like it.
But that's a hard call because if it's not conclusive. And they'll change the call. No, they're going to keep. I'm sorry, they're going to keep it the same. But they'll keep it the same.
all right, this is the part where I inserted into the podcast. All right. Like I mentioned in the open, Coach and I will be talking about unlocking your child's potential through youth sports and why 3-on-3 basketball is a number one option for parents who want to introduce their kids into sports. But before we get to that, Coach, I saw that you were featured in an online interview. I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that a little. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it was a cool experience. The folks at Canvas Rebel, shout out Canvas Rebel, that reached out to me. They have a little periodical that they do reaching out to, creators and entrepreneurs. They heard a little bit about my story, reached out to me and wanted to do an interview. So that was real cool, man. Anything to, get my story out, to make some type of impact, I'm all for it.
Yeah, man, that was a cool interview, man. The one request I have for you next time is mention the pod more, man.
Man, I want to say I did that before we even started the podcast. Or no, you know what?
I take that back.
No, I take that back. It was right when we started because I did put the podcast at the bottom in my contact information as my YouTube.
I didn't see
handle.
that. I know I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just congrats on the interview. That was cool. Also want to
Appreciate
give you an
that.
opportunity to give any updates on your Score Hoops 3-on-3 basketball. Coach runs a youth 3-on-3 basketball program in Phoenix, Arizona called Score Hoops 3-on-3, and he is in the middle of a spring season. So I just want to give you an opportunity
Yes,
to talk
sir.
about any updates you want to give.
Yes, sir. Our second annual spring league. We had a bye week this week because of gym restrictions, which, most program directors and most basketball coaches know that problem. Finding ample gym space and gym time. So we had a bye week. However, last week, week 2, May 4th, 2 weeks, about 10 days ago or whatever, that week was lit, man. It was a lot more competitive. Week 1 was a little. I mean, the ball was good. The ball was good. But like with most week 1s, you don't see the best of what you have.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
week 2 was a lot better. And I expect week 3 and week 4 coming up over the next 10 days to be even better. So the league is turning out to be a good one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So as for myself, I quickly want to mention that I also run a youth 3-on-3 basketball program here in Tampa, Florida called 3-on-3 Live, and we are currently taking in registrations for our upcoming summer league, which starts June 23rd. This is for boys and girls in grades 2nd through 12. All skill levels are welcome. All games are on Sundays. The league will go 4 weeks. Each team will play 2 games each Sunday. All games are played at Slam Tampa, which is a wonderful facility. It's going to be a fun summer league. We had a lot of fun with it last year with our summer leagues. And if you didn't get to play in it last year, make sure you sign up this time around. And for more information, go to 3on3live.com. All right. So to get into our main topic today, Coach, I want to ask you a question. What is the earliest sports memory you have as a child, or you had as a child, as far as playing goes? Like, what's the first sports team you remember playing on?
I played for my very first team. I was 5 years old. I played for the Raleigh Park Suns. Shout out Raleigh Park in Gardena, California. Raleigh Park Suns. I was 5 years old, and I don't remember anything specifically that happened during that time. Obviously, this is over 30 years ago, but I'm still friends to this very day with some kids on that team. So,
oh, nice.
That's kind of
nice.
That's kind of going to be a little bit of a little tease of what we're going to talk about. Some of the benefits of getting your kids started in youth sports, but that's one of them. That's one of them. Just playing basketball on a team. As long as I can remember, and
it was a basketball team.
That was the first. That was the first sport. But I played baseball and football all at that same park.
Yeah, we know you're all star. Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, all star. Me.
Deion Sanders,
Chuck Taylor's all stars, man.
So is that when you? I guess I don't know if you remember, but is that something that you like asked your parents to get in, or did your parents kind of throw you in?
I probably didn't ask them. Like I said, I was 5, so they probably, you know how your parents are when you have children. You want to find extracurricular activities for them, so they're not sitting around the house all the time. Like I said, the park was in walking distance from the house. That's another thing I remember too. Remember walking to and from the games before and after the games were over. And that's the earliest that I can remember, man. Those are some of the best days ever.
I know for sure that my dad kind of threw me into baseball. That was my first sport.
Okay.
So I think I played late. I played a lot later than you. I played the first sports team I was on was a baseball team when I was in, I want to say 4th grade.
Okay.
So I had kind of a, I guess, late start, compared to you. But I didn't know anything about baseball. It's something that, I was out there in right field. That's where they put the worst kid.
The kid that's picking the grass and looking up in
that's what I was doing.
I
I was I was playing with kicking bees and like on the the grass or whatever, trying to step on them and stuff like that. I wasn't really paying attention. I have a lot of funny baseball stories. I will have to tell another time, but it's some of my most embarrassing moments.
Yeah.
But my dad definitely threw me into sports. But you know what? And I can't even remember if we won anything. I for some reason I remember losing every game, but we still got trophies at the end. Or I barely remember. Maybe we did win. I don't know.
We used to get participation trophies. I never got a participation trophy, but I remember the kids that would finish last and seventh and all kind of stuff. They would get the smaller trophies that said participation on it. I might have gotten one participation trophy where we finished maybe like fourth place, something like that.
Yeah, I remember the end of the year party. I remember I had one spectacular play that I will always brag about. It was Willie Mays type. I think I've heard it called before, where a ball was hit out to right field, and I was running my hardest, and everybody knew, it would drop because I never caught anything. And I put my glove out, and it fell right in my glove. I can't remember what inning it was. I don't think I was counting. It may have been.
You put your glove up and closed your eyes and caught it.
Basically, that's what it was, and but it was the play of the year.
Oh, okay.
I just remember, but I do remember how as much embarrassment as I had out there on the baseball field. I was scared too. Like the ball never left my shoulder. I got hit by a pitch once. Yeah. And I couldn't believe that they were actually throwing as hard as they were throwing. I was a kid back then. I think they're throwing this hard ball at me like this. And so, it took me a while to even get used to being in the plate. But all that being said, I do remember forming some of my closest friends in grade school. All the way up until I had one best friend up until we went to different high schools. From that baseball team. So. The friendship for sure was a big plus for me. Do you remember? I guess what? So when coming from that basketball team that you went on, what did you play next? Like, did you ask to be on another sport, or did your parents keep throwing in you to sports? Like, what hooked you? I guess do you remember being hooked to being on a sports team?
I don't know if I asked, but I just went around in the season. So what? Basketball's over in the spring. So, yeah, baseball had to be next. And then they just signed me up for the same park league, Raleigh Park. And then football. Now, I started playing flag football for the Cowboys. My team was the Cowboys. And I was the best player on that team. I remember... now, this is something I remember vividly. Basketball, I don't really remember anything vividly. But football, I remember my mom and my dad used to always run down the sideline with me when I got the ball, and they ran the whole time until I got caught. I remember that vividly. So, that's funny. Yeah, I just play year-round sports, man, and that's why it's like weird. Okay. I know it's a different generation now, but it's like weird when I see kids say, "I only play football" or "I only play basketball." I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I never until the end. I will say, until the very end. Is when I played only one sport.
I will say I only played one sport after that. One baseball season. I never played baseball again. My mom didn't let me play football. I did want to give a shout out real quick to the Argyle Mets because that was my little league team. So really proud of that.
But at least you were out there though.
Oh yeah, I was out there, but I was a one sport kid, so I was one of the weird ones.
So you said no football, so no track either then.
Well. The high school that I went to, they didn't have a football team. They had they adopted their first football team the year after I graduated. So
that's always how it works.
My mom wasn't gonna let me play anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But
my mom didn't want me to play tackle for a long time either. I had to like kind of guilt shame her into it because by that time. All of my friends had started playing tackle, and I was the last one to start. So I was like, "Mom, are you really going to have me, the only kid, not playing tackle?" So she threw me in there eventually. So, and that became my best sport until that became my best sport. Just keeping it real.
All right. So, what are the some would you say essential life skills that we learn from sports?
Well. One is the structure, right? That's I think the main or I would say that's the main, I don't know if you want to call it a benefit or whatever, but that's the main result that comes from it, just the structure, right? You have a start time of practice, you have an end time of practice, you have water breaks, you do drills, there's rules to the game of basketball, right? So there's a structure. So that's one thing for sure. It's just kids like structure. So why not put them in a fun environment to learn that structure?
And they like structure before they even know it, before they even realize it. I mean, there's something kids need. But yeah, structure is a good one.
That's for sure. Other than that, so structure is a big one. Like teamwork, obviously teamwork when you're playing those team sports, you're dependent on basketball especially. That's like maybe the ultimate team sport. Like you have rebounders, you have defenders, you have your scorer, right? Or your one or two scorers, and all those different pieces fit together to form the puzzle, right? And then you have to learn how to utilize the appropriate resources to achieve the ultimate goal, which is winning basketball games. So that's beneficial for sure, because what kids don't know is they're going to have to learn how to do that when they get into the professional world and start working.
That's true. And that's what we're talking about. Like, we're, all the I guess the life skills that you learn even as a, fourth grader, or, even at 5 years old, and start planting that seed in you, that will carry on into your adulthood life. And, a lot of people don't realize that. I love sports. I do think that it teaches you, and I think you mentioned this on another one of our podcasts, that it teaches you so many life skills that you don't even realize at the time. It's the one thing that can bring, two races together, or different races together, not just two, but it teaches you how to work towards a common goal. It teaches you discipline and resilience. For sure. So so like sports, even at an early age, can start teaching you essential life skills. Like I actually have a list of, we have a list of 20 here that, we can just rattle off. But, there's time management, accountability, perseverance. I mean, a lot of times a lot of the times when you want to get, how many times have you been in practices and you didn't think you were going to live to see another day? You know what I'm saying? So during times in practice where I thought I was going to die. Running bleachers and stuff like that. So
even in the game, there was times, but that's where that resilience comes in, right? You got to dig deep. That's one thing that I tell the guys when we're on the floor is you got to dig deep. There's more left in the tank than what you think. That's how you build that. That's how you build that resilient attitude. That's how you overcome adversity. So, just teaching that. Just teaching those attributes and those skills at a young age. I mean, I can even attest, myself. Just growing up playing sports, at that early age of 5, all the way into now coaching it. Like some of those same principles and some of those same ideologies that I learned when I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old playing sports, I still use those and apply them. So, that's a real, that's the underlying reason, why parents should put their kids in, start them out in sports. Even before you teach them about the winning and losing part, it's just, learning the life skills that's going to, carry you throughout.
You have humility, mental toughness, self-discipline. I mean, it teaches
humility. I teach my guys to be cocky out there. You make it through, you get all in their face. Booyah, boy, you can't stop me. Nah, I feel you. You do. No, you do. No, humility is a big thing because, just kind of going off of what I just did right there, you get those guys that, they're what we call front runners, right? When they're up, they're all in your face. But, when those tables turn, and they do, that's you gotta know how to, take that slice of humble pie.
Yep. Another one that I like is gratitude, and that's one that you don't hear about a lot, but it does actually teach gratitude because you're going through long seasons. You learn to express gratitude towards coaches that help you along the way. It's not always the head coach. A lot of times that's assistant coach or the position coach that you become really close with. You express gratitude towards your parents for taking you to parents or to practice and even getting you in the sport. You know what I'm saying? So and even like if you're talking on the court or on the field specifically, you show gratitude toward your teammates for getting your back. When you're not up for it one day, like sometimes you can't get up and you have to rely on your teammates. Like all this stuff happens, as young as I can remember. It's still happening to me now in my regular 9-to-5 job. You know what I'm saying? So if you work with a team, it teaches you how to deal with it. It teaches you how to deal with different personalities. So
that's a big one. That's a big one.
Another big one, especially I think it's really important, especially in these days, is respect for authority. Because I believe that sometimes coaches have coaches have a heavier voice, in a lot of kids' lives right now because they don't listen to their parents or they don't respect authority. I just hearing it from a coach that because it's something that they're involved with and something that they actually care to be in, so
for sure. I mean, I've even had parents tell me they'll listen to you, coach, over me. So that's why you gotta kind of you gotta kind of know how to keep that frame, know how to as coaches, we're inadvertently put into place as role models sometimes, right? So, if you get put into that spot, you gotta kind of like adapt to the role. So, I don't mind being being put in that role. However, it's not all on the coach's parents. It does start at home. But what I will say is, I'll have the parents back if what their message, if the message they're conveying is something that I agree to. So I'll never overstep the bounds of the parents.
When you started getting serious about sports, was there ever a time when you entered a season without a goal?
When I started getting serious about it, no.
I mean, you have a goal every time, right?
Yeah, I mean, it started. I want to say. I mean, wow. I mean, maybe. Now that I think about it, it started probably in about middle school when I was on our middle school basketball team, and we knew that we were pretty untouchable. Our goal was to go undefeated. We didn't achieve that goal. We lost maybe about 3 games and lost in like the round before the last round in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that about around that time was. Same thing with football too. It was around that same time where I was on a team in basketball and football where we were like, there's only like one true team that was really gonna mess with us, and those 2 teams messed with us.
Yeah, and you were just talking
we were
about
that young though. We were like 12 years old.
Yeah,
like I promise to you, and I tell the kids now that I coached with, like you couldn't tell us anything, bro. Like we thought we were in the NBA when we were 13 years old. And we played like it. Like, we had that mindset like, okay, this is middle school, junior high basketball, but we're approaching this like we're NBA superstars. And we thought we were, and then we obviously we weren't, but just to attack the floor with that mindset at such a young age, I feel like that's beneficial for sure.
I mean, having a goal is just so important. And I don't think if you don't really have a goal, you're just out there walking. You're just wandering around. I do think sports teaches you how to set goals and teaches you how to, even if you fall short, how to keep going and the perseverance and leadership and other things.
You gotta know how to adapt. Yeah, you gotta know how to adapt because that's what happens when you reach your goal. You have to adapt. You have to pivot. So
like all these things that I can see in our regular adulthood life, and it's a lot of stuff that have been, that are seeds. Planted as seeds in our younger days in sports. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about 3-on-3 specifically. What's the 3-on-3 advantage when it comes to unlocking a child's potential?
I think 3-on-3 is like a gateway. So like 3-on-3 is like T-ball, right? So when you have a kid that's never played before basketball, maybe 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in that age, get them started in 3-on-3, right? Not only does it, benefit you in all the ways that we just listed, right? But, looking at it from the parent side also, think about it. It's not so time consuming on a Saturday or a Sunday. Mm-hmm. You're in and out within the hour. Your kid's gonna have fun, and they're gonna learn a list of those 20 benefits that we just listed, or however many more. Life skills that'll translate from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just 3-on-3 being a smaller group, just in itself, that forces you, communication's a big one. It forces you to communicate with, I think we talked about before, like the bigger the group, the I guess, not want to say shyer or the quieter you become, because
you get lost in the shuffle. You get lost in the sauce.
Yeah. You're not as motivated to speak your mind or to ask questions or whatever. But
think about it like this. I'm gonna give you the perfect analogy. When you're at work in a group meeting, right? When it's 2 or 3 or 4 of you guys, you feel like you have to input something. But we're in a big company meeting where it's like 30 or 40 of you guys. What do? I'm just gonna fade to the back and not say anything. Yep. It's the same way.
That's how it is.
It's the same way, yeah. Like, I don't know what to do, especially for the guys or the girls that they already aren't as confident, right? Mm-hmm. Say somebody passes them the ball, it goes through their hands and goes out of bounds. Like that right there. Okay, that's the reason for me to just step back now, because I can hide amongst the other 9 players. Where in 3-on-3 you can't do that, because guess what? You're gonna get the ball again real soon. So you need to have your heads up. You need to have your hands up and your head ready.
And along those same lines, like it forces you to try to prove yourself that, hey, I can do something. It's not as scary as I thought. I wouldn't have, I have a kid that he was very shy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was like super shy. I didn't want to. He barely talked. This was in my lower level group, mm-hmm. And we had, every time we got the ball, we kind of yelling shoot, and he was just like catch the ball and playing like hot potato or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But he heard it so many times, like he caught the ball like every possession, obviously, because it's just 3-on-3. But he finally just said, okay, fine, I'll shoot it. And he shot it and made it. And then we couldn't get him to stop shooting. So, we were yelling pass by the end of the game. But, I love that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you're talking about somebody who's, super shy. Like, now he's, calling for the ball. Like, we had to tell him to pass the ball. So, but, yeah, it subconsciously gets a kid over, the fear of the fear of trying something, because they're scared they're going to fail or mess up, because you're going to, like you said, get the ball so many times. Like, it forces you to try things. And that'll carry on as an adult also. Like, I think that a lot of times, we don't realize how stuff as kids affect us as adults. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff that we kind of felt as kids.
You don't realize it until you are an adult most times, really.
I mean, we're all just a bigger, version of our kid self. So that's all we are, So we still have those same fears and feelings or whatever. So
that's facts, man. I always tell people I still feel like the same person when I was 15, bro.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you just triggered me. I don't want to turn this into like a
look to a back. We gotta have a back in the day episode.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a mental health podcast. Cause that's that's true.
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, I think that's important. Like everything that you mentioned about self-esteem and self-confidence, and the opportunities you get to build that in 3-on-3. I mean, that is really important, even at a young age. And, that's why I think personally that, 3 is a great model, because it just forces those opportunities. It forces you to get over your fears and,
you get to learn from those mistakes, because they're gonna come. And the quicker that you realize that mistakes happen and that it's not the end of the world, the better off you'll be. That's what I. That's That's
Here's
what I
also
try.
an obvious one also, but might not be obvious to say. But like just the fact that you're out there more, getting more playing time. It's just more physical activity.
Yeah.
So and this is a perfect opportunity for parents to teach kids how to stretch or eat right, or just take care of their body, and because now they're tired or throwing up. I had a kid throw up during one Sunday because he wasn't using playing that much. So
I can see that.
Yeah. So like
Because guys are gassed
you
when they walk off for sure. They don't
Yeah,
understand the strenuous nature of it until you're out there running around.
You're involved in a game, like you're involved more, and it's more activity, so it's more activity than they're probably used to, and more than they realize. So so those are just some of the 3-on-3 advantages when we're talking about all the essential life skills that you get from playing sports. So